I figured with all the resin videos on this channel, it was high time I had a tutorial that went a little bit in depth on how to measure and mix resin, and also per someone expressing interest in the comment section, I decided to go ahead and explain how the magic happens. And we're going to start off by listing off the things you need before you even start. Most importantly of all, a mask. This mask. It can't just be any mask. It has to be something like this that will actually filter out resin particles and fumes. Regular masks aren't going to protect you from that, and you're going to want one with reusable filters like that. Also, gloves. If you don't have either one of these things, then you're not ready to start messing with resin. You don't want contact allergies, which not everyone gets, but you could get if it actually gets on your skin. And also, you don't want to have any issues with your lungs. And the next thing you're going to want is a scale, just a regular food grade scale that you can find on Amazon. It's usually like not more than $11. Easiest thing in the world. Has a little button on there, you can change the units. Basically, you just turn it on and you measure. It's that easy. And also the popsicle sticks, because you're going to want to stir. At least that's what I've been using. But they also have these silicone stirrers now, and I might actually be switching over to those in the future because I figure it's just better for the environment. Saves waste of having to keep throwing away popsicle sticks. Alright, now this is what you came for, so let's get into it. And a lot of those things I'll link in the description of the video. So let's get our scale out, and I'm just going to show you how to turn it on. Really easy. Just hit the power button. We don't have to do anything with the unit button because I've already got it set to fluid ounces. It'll eventually turn to 0 in a few seconds. And what I usually do is I will grab an extra piece of wax paper just to put over my scale, because as you can see, mine is very well loved and that's how it's become a mess over time. I recommend doing this just as a little extra protection. And if you'll notice as I place things on here, it's not going to stay 0, obviously. But what you're going to do is you're just going to hit that button again, the power button. It turns it back to 0, and you want it on 0 before you start pouring any of this. So this is a 1-to-1 ratio of epoxy, and what that means is that we're going to say we pour 2 ounces of the resin. If we do 2 ounces of resin, that means when I pour in the hardener, we're going to do another 2 ounces. So everything should come out to exactly 4 ounces by the time I'm done doing this. But let's first get it to 2. And I'm pouring just very gradually, very carefully, because it's easier to overpour than you think. So we've got that to 2. I'm just going to cap that. 2 ounces of our first part, which is the resin. Now I'm going to grab the B part here, which is going to be the hardener. And we're going to want to put 2 ounces of that also. So let's get this up to 4. And basically, if you did 3 ounces of one, you do 3 of another. If you did 4 ounces of one, you do 4 of another. You get the idea. That's basically what is meant by the 1-to-1 ratio. And that's pretty much, I think they make different ratios for resin, but I usually like to do the 1-to-1. I keep it very simple. And as you can see, we've got it evenly at 4, which is great. That's what we want. And now I'm going to grab a popsicle stick and just start stirring. And I don't know if you can tell, I'll try to edit this best I can, but when you first start to pour When you first start to stir, rather, I should say, this stuff, it looks a little bit cloudy when you first start out. Oh, and by the way, we're going to mix this for 4 minutes. Depending on the resin you get, any resin you get is going to tell you in the instruction booklet how long you need to stir for, but it's usually 4 minutes for the kinds of resins that I buy and I work with. And I'm kind of tilting the cup towards me a little bit as if I were mixing cake batter in a mixing bowl. I just find it easier to make sure that I'm getting the liquids mixed together and that nothing is sticking to the bottom and sticking to the sides, which you can also use your popsicle stick to kind of scrape around the bottom and the sides. And after mixing this for 4 minutes, I really wish the lighting was better. I apologize for that. I'm only noticing this after I filmed it, but it should go from cloudy to clear. Basically, if you want a way to know on site what resin looks like when it's getting ready or close to ready, it should become a lot clearer, a lot less cloudy, and it should just basically fall off of this popsicle stick. And it feels thicker when you first start to stir it. It becomes a lot easier to stir the closer it gets to being ready to pour. Now I'm going to get out some white mica powder. And I'm going to add maybe, because we've only got 4 ounces, I'm not going to use a whole spoon of this because I feel like that would be overkill. That's about what you need for the amount of resin right there. And if you're not sure, I've never really measured mica powder exactly. I don't see the point. I suppose there is a way you could mess it up, but I never have. So it must be really hard to. It's just you can tell how bright or how dull the color looks. If you need to brighten the color, just add a little bit more mica powder. It doesn't need to be overkill because this is only 4 ounces, and look what that little bit of mica powder did for it. It's going to come out very white. And the reason that you want to pour mica powder into your resin, even though we also painted the molds with mica powder, is because if you don't put down some kind of base color for your mica powder, the colors on the rest of your project are just going to come out really washed out and really just dull looking. You can use black too, by the way. I've seen people do it. You could basically use any color really, but I feel like the white color just makes it pop a lot more. I may have to do some experimentation in the future where I do some black pours just to see what the difference is, but for the purpose of this we're using white. And as you can see, that turned the resin a very, very nice white base, and I'm just kind of using my popsicle stick to sort of guide the resin in there because this is a smaller pour, and it helps me keep better control of the stream of resin. And these here are some little cat figurines that I think are actually for propping your chopsticks on. I think you'd probably just use them as a paintbrush rest too, now that I think about it, but either way, they are super cute, as you'll see after they cure and we demold this. But right now, I'm just making sure that I had enough, which I should. And the other reason that we wanted to do 4 ounces was because I'm not making a really big project, so I didn't want to overdo it on the resin. Of all the things that I will list in the description links, you'll know that resin is your most expensive tool, and we don't want to waste a drop of it if we can help it. I always try to use every drop of resin that I mix. I don't like to waste. And another one that I have painted here was this mermaid mold. And you'll have seen that I've made quite a few of these on my channel, so I figured since I didn't want to use a huge batch of resin for the tutorial, I would have a lot of smaller things pre-painted and ready to just be poured into. We're not going to have enough resin, I don't believe, to pour into all of these little molds, but that's okay because it gives me the opportunity to show you what happens when you haven't mixed enough resin, and the solution is actually very simple. You put your project to the side, and then you get ready to mix some more. This resin takes at least, I want to say, 30 to 45 minutes before it'll start being unmanageable or being something that you just can't work with anymore because it's in the curing process. So since this is a pretty slow curing resin, you have plenty of time to mix up another batch and just add to the mold that was deficient in resin. It's not going to harm it. As long as you mixed your resin right, it's not going to harm it. You can just add that resin to that other resin. So we're going to measure again. As you can see, this time I'm doing, come on, it's always that one last drop that gives me anxiety. But we've got it evenly at 4. So you guessed it, we're going to pour in another 4, and that should come out to 8. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Factoid you may not have known if you never did this, the hardener comes out quicker than the resin, so be a little bit careful with that. Yeah, my shoulder's starting to hurt. It's always those last few drops. There, perfect. We got it. 8. And now we're going to be mixing for 4 minutes again. I have made this a little bit faster because sitting here watching me mix resin, I don't imagine is very stimulating. But you don't have to mix this very fast. In fact, mixing slower is a little bit better because it decreases your chance of getting bubbles. And again, I'm just tilting it towards me and kind of making sure that I've scraped all the resin together and off the sides, and that it is completely mixing together as it should. So once again, we're at the part where we're gonna add some, and I'm going to add a little bit more than before, of mica powder, because this time we have 8 ounces. Last time we did 4, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more than half of that spoon. It's kind of caking up a little, so using my stick to kind of scrape the mica powder off the sides to make sure that it actually gets into the resin. And then we ought to slowly but surely get that mixed well and good in there. By the way, I don't think it really matters when you add the mica powder. You can Stir your resin for 4 minutes, then add it, or add it before. I think as long as you mixed your 1-to-1 ratio correctly, it doesn't really do anything. Not gonna hurt it. Now, if you are trying to see it go from cloudy to clear, don't put mica powder in there, obviously, because you won't be able to tell. But either way, as long as you have a clock nearby, you'll pretty much know your time, and you'll, again, this is not something I can demonstrate in a video, but you'll actually feel the difference when it starts to be ready, because it's a lot less thick and it starts to feel like it's easier to stir. Now, 4 minutes later into the future, we can return to the mermaid that we didn't get to complete and just add that on top. It's that easy. Just gonna carefully pour, carefully pour. So you don't want to overfill these, but you definitely want to get it as close to even with the top as you can. And that looks about right. I'm just setting up another paper here, another wax paper, so that I can pour our next one. And you can see that I had quite a few of these painted and prepared for this tutorial. Just pour slowly, kind of using my popsicle stick to control the stream like before. That looks about right, so I'm going to start this one. Kind of getting some resin into those little cracks where I can. Trying again to get it exactly where I want it, not to overfill it. I mean, it's not a big deal. Worst thing that would happen is it would pour onto your wax paper, but let's try not to do that. Now I'm going to start pouring into this one. I wonder if I made just enough. That would be perfect. And even though this was a resin pouring tutorial that I was just focusing on showing you how to measure and mix, I feel like it'd be a boring video if we didn't get to see the fruits of our labor. This is a 24-hour later time skip we did here. I came back the next day. This is what we got. I really like the way the tail came out, but I wish that some of the blue hadn't got on her face. Oh well, it doesn't look too bad though. Actually really like that tail. Putting that one away, and then we're gonna see which one should we demold next. I choose you. So this one should, if I can just get around the edges, pop out pretty easily. Oh! Good reflexes, I almost dropped it. That one came flying out. I really like the way the hair turned out. And we've got a kind of green and gold tail. That one came out pretty cute. I'll put that one down. And now let's get to this one. This one did come over the edge a little bit. That's okay though, that part should flake off. First get this one out. Ooh, nice tail. Nice hair. I really like how the colors came out on this one actually. I like that a lot. Now we've got this little bit that had gotten over the edge that's still kind of stuck to it. I don't think it wants to come off or flake away on its own, unfortunately. So let's get out. This here is just some good old wire clippers, and they are one of the best things for clipping off these hard pieces of resin if this ever happens. This wasn't just flaking away, it cured pretty solid. So I'm just using the wire cutters to trim it away, and it did a pretty good job. Those work better than the scissors. And there we have it. She's all cleaned up and ready to go. Last but not least, I'm really excited to see how this one... Oh, nice. I think this is my favorite one. I was excited to see how this one came out because it's the first mermaid I did with green hair. And I really do like that green. Let me get another close-up before putting that away. And of course, we don't want to forget about these guys. Let's see, cat number 1. Aww, that is super cute. I really like how the colors came out. Like the whites on the tail and the ears came out vibrant. Trying to move a little bit of this stuff to the side before we continue. There he goes. Let's see, the next one will be the blue one, blue-gray one. That one also came out super shiny and super cute. Put that one there. Last but not least will be the black one. Made a black cat with a white tail. And those are really sweet looking. I really do like that. Those are too adorable. I'm gonna have to definitely link that mold in the description. See, it can be a paintbrush rest. Though I think it was probably intended to have chopsticks laying across. So I had a spark of inspiration for what else I could do with these little cats, and it's because I got an order from Amazon on these little plastic eyeballs of all different sizes, and I hadn't really had plans for what to do with the little ones, but now I have a pretty good idea of what I want to use them for. I don't know about that color per se, but you get the idea. I think I'm actually going to go with these green cat eyes for this orange cat. And I'm already kind of feeling anxiety over this. I hope I get the super glue as I need to get it. Oh boy. This is the aggravating thing about working with gloves and working with glue. The glue will never want to stick to the item you put it on. It will always want to stick to your gloves. But if you don't wear gloves, you get glue on your hands. So it's a kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't sort of deal with this. I knew it was going to be aggravating. But I'm determined to get it. Let's try this again. And no, that's a fail. I'm not giving up, though. I'm going to figure out a way to do this, or else there is a way to do this. This is not impossible. And I feel like somebody in the comments section is going to tell me, oh, you should have done that. By all means do. By all means do. If you know an easier way to do this, I will not get offended. This was painstaking, but I was determined to do it because I knew the result would be worth it. I swear, I need some Looney Tunes soundtrack in the background for how many times I dropped this and how many times I got frustrated. But I think I finally got the first one into place. Let's go ahead and put the other one down. And this is so much harder with gloves, but I don't want to get glue on my hands. And now it's caught. It's caught. It's caught on the actual tweezers. Oh no. Oh no. Do I got it? Do I got it? No, Jesus, no, I don't got it. It is so hard not to curse right now. I'm trying to keep this civil, but I really want to curse right now. Oh gosh. No. There's okay. So the glue's already gone or dried. I am gonna figure this out. Okay, let's use the toothpick. The toothpick works. It's much easier to nudge things into place with the toothpick, I think so. I hope I didn't speak too soon. There! I think we got it. I think we got it. I'm just going to add a little bit extra around. I want to make sure this really stays in place. And as I realize that I have 2 more of these, my relief and my sense of triumph faded back into dread. Let me try to, there's something definitely stuck on the end of these tweezers. Let me try to pluck it off a little bit. I swear I hate working with gloves because for whatever the reason, even though I'm a full-grown woman, have child's hands, and I can never find a pair of gloves that fits me properly, so I always feel like they don't fit right, and then working with gloves is frustrating as it is, because it just, I don't work, oh boy, here we go again. Take 200. Now you guys get to see what it looks like behind the scenes. Art can be frustrating. It sometimes does not go as planned the first time you attempt it, but luck and stubbornness. I've got that first tiny eyeball back in place. This is worth it, though. The frustration is definitely worth it because they were already cute. Now they're just going to be downright adorable with the eyes put on. Sorry, I'm kind of getting out of range of the camera here, but I'm having to pull it closer to me and away from the camera because it's hard to hold it out and do it. But there we go. And the toothpick is honestly so far turning out to be the best tool for nudging them into place without knocking them completely off of the cat. And that resin is very smooth and very slippery, and it's much easier to knock these things off of here than you think. There we go. Just make sure they're even. There we go. Cute! I think those blue eyes were the perfect ones to choose with that blue-gray. And I'm just going to drop a little bit more of that quick super glue around the cracks because we want to secure it. And I'm putting that one away. And I'm just kind of standing them up to the side. That glue, that Quick Star glue, it does dry pretty fast. So I highly recommend it if there's something you want to glue down really quickly. Of course, the kicker is you have to be quick with it. Now I'm showing you this ginormous eye to show you that it does in fact have a skull for a pupil. I didn't notice that right away until I looked at the bigger one, but that's definitely a freaking skull in the middle of that one. And I actually own a black cat that thinks he's a badass. So those are the ones I'm choosing for the black cat. And I wanted to show you the bigger eye because I'm not even sure if on the smaller one the skull even registers, but I thought that was kind of hilarious because my cat thinks he's a badass, at least until the other cat comes around. And I just thought the skulls and the pupil were just so freaking metal looking. Is that giving new meaning to death glare? Definitely describes my black cat. So we're just going to use our toothy pick again. This nudged into place. Put a little bit more glue to pin it down. These are going to look so cute. And you thought you were just getting a resin mixing tutorial. I spoil y'all. Super cute. And here's our finished result. It does look adorable. It looks goofy and derpy and adorable, and I love it. Totally love it. We'll definitely make some more of these. So that was part 1 of mixing resin. Yes, you heard that right, part 1. Because this was the technique that I use when I'm working with mica powder. The technique that I use when I'm using alcohol inks and resin isn't, well, it's not hard, but it's different. It is a different technique, so I did feel like that warranted its own video. So we'll be making part 2 showing you how to do that. And that will have been the same technique I used to make my hanging wall triptych and some of my coasters. So I have actually been wanting to do another video with alcohol inks, so having a tutorial for it is kind of perfect timing. So if you stuck with me this far, please go ahead, like and subscribe. It will help my small channel grow. And I'll see you in the next art story. Bye for now.